Hey everybody, my name is Abby and this is Sunny D Writes. Today's topic is one that I've mentioned in a couple of videos in the past, but I figured it was enough to warrant a video of its own, and that is finding time to write. So, in this video, I'll be taking you through all the reasons that finding time to write is important, as well as 3 different ways that you can find time to write yourself. Let's hop right in. Why should I find time to write? I mean, you want to be a writer, yeah? And you want to write, right? Finding time to write is a crucial part of being an actual writer, so this one should be relatively self-explanatory. Some other reasons to find time to write is that this time may act as a reward or a break for doing other things during the day. For some writers, myself included, this can act as a kind of meditation, just to kind of get yourself away from what's going on in the real world to focus on your story. Another much simpler reason might be that you just like to write. Basically, there are tons of reasons to find time to write, you just have to find yours. Next up, how can I find time to write? There are several different ways to find time to write in your schedule, so we will start off with number 1. The finder. The finder is the person who writes when they can find the time to do so. Not because it's in their schedule, but because they have time right now and they wouldn't really want to do anything else. The finder will take time to write before they eat breakfast or after they shower because they'd rather write than scroll through social media looking for something to do. The finder is probably the best option for anybody who's looking for a low time commitment or low commitment in general, or for anybody who sees writing as more of a hobby. Finders might see a problem in consistency, especially those that have schedules that change a whole lot. But again, finding is the best option for writers looking for low commitment. For the low commitment writer, this is an excellent option. This brings us to number 2. The fitter, who's a little bit more structured than the finder. The fitter is somebody who actually looks at their schedule and finds potential times to write. If the fitter sees 15 minutes between work meetings and there's nothing else to do, then they will throw writing in that time. The fitter is more structured and possibly more resourceful than the finder, because rather than operating on a whim, they find times in their schedule and resolve to dedicate those times to writing. The fitter is probably best for writers who have organized schedules and who can look through those schedules to find times that write for them. Often fitters are writers who have more of an ability to dedicate more time to their writing than finders. And finally, we have number 3, the maker. The maker is the person who actively blocks out time every day in their schedule to write, not just between meetings or when they know they have a moment free, but when they know that they'll actively be able to dedicate themselves to their craft. The maker is a person who will build a routine in their calendar and who will make an effort to consistently include times to write in their schedule. The maker is a strong option for writers who want to be published and for writers who have time to consistently dedicate to reaching that goal. It's all about consistency. Makers are usually the people who have either the most organized schedule or the most time to dedicate to writing. However, makers can often find themselves in burnout situations if they dedicate every single moment of free time to writing without giving themselves time to decompress or find something else to do. Now, it's important to realize that most writers are a blend between these 3 time-finding types. I myself am a blend between a fitter and a maker, more leaning towards maker, and that's just because that's what my schedule calls for, and that's what I usually have the time for. Now, I mentioned the idea of scheduling and organization a lot as I went through those 3 time-finding types, but why? For most writers, writing isn't our only time commitment, and it's important to treat that as such. For those of us who aren't full-time writers, scheduling and finding time to write is an especially important way to make sure that all of our responsibilities are fulfilled. So even if you don't have many concrete events, scheduling is super important when it comes to things like this. I personally use Google Calendar to lay out all my goals and stepping stones on a daily basis, and it's a really nice way to hold myself accountable for those. So from one writer to another, if you don't have any sort of schedule or any sort of concrete way to look at everything that you have going on right now, consider using Google Calendar or another platform similar to that. Once your schedule has been clearly defined, it should be a lot easier to find time to write, no matter which of the categories you fall under. And that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video or you found it helpful, subscribe or drop a like on this video to let me know. If you have any comments or follow-up questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments down below or over on my blog at Sunny D Writes. And until next time, happy writing!